eBEFOREi video reviews back again, this time reviewing something I've been looking forward to for a long time. Transformers Prime, Robots in Disguise, Decepticon, Rumble. Still in his box. I have really been looking forward to this figure, and he looks fantastic in packaging. I will say this about this toy. Pictures on the internet do not do this toy justice, because when you hold this toy up and you look at the way the paint shines on this figure, it really pops. I mean, it's a nice color blue. Whereas on the internet, it kind of looked blah to me. But I can't stress enough how great I think the paint came across, so far in the box at least, of this figure. Look at the box art. That is Rumble. Oh yes. What a great animation model. He still kind of has some characteristics of Generation 1 Rumble, but at the same time has been completely reinvented into a more modern type character. Again, on the box, what are we missing here? Level 2, so yeah, I can probably figure this one out. On the bottom, it's talking about Sergeant Cup, Shadow Strike Bumblebee, and Arachnid. On the back,
chaos and destruction are all that Decepticon Rumble lives for. His powerful pile drivers send shuddering shockwaves through the earth, strong enough to knock Autobots from their feet, collapse buildings, and open chasms in the ground. Awesome.
Again, the way that they've got this guy posed, great. Yeah, so that's pretty much Series 1, by the way, Figure 14. And here's his tech specs. He's, oh, man, 3 for intelligence? Really? This isn't Laserbeak. Oh, maybe, okay. Okay, well, we'll just pretend like he's smarter than a 3, because, man, that's like Dinobot territory. But anyway, let's see if this toy is as impressive in my hand as it appears to be inside the packaging. Okay, this is Rumble opened up and out of the box, and I'll tell you, the coolness in the box still carries over when you have him here in your hand. I mean, the toy really does look pretty fantastic. Again, online pictures do not do this toy justice. Now, he is kind of small, but it is Rumble we're talking about, and remember, on Generation 1, Rumble was a little tiny Decepticon. Actually, he's probably the size of a human in robot form, and so it makes sense that his car mode, you know, would be on a smaller scale. But really, to me, it lines up more with the RiD line just in general. We'll have to do some size comparisons in a bit. So the one thing that Rumble does not have a lot of is paint, although, you know, I think that this whole top panel is painted blue, while on the sides here, you've got blue-colored plastic. You do have a Decepticon symbol painted in the front, which is very cool. That looks good. You've got these red translucent windows. You can see some robot bits in there, but it's not overly apparent. It looks like there's a pair of fists in there. On the side, you know, kind of carries over just a small, compact design, like a Scion or something. I'm not sure what kind of car this is supposed to be. One thing that I find interesting is that his headlights are painted black, and I don't really get that, because they should be clear or light colored. Now, on the side of the vehicle, you've got no paint in the wheels, which I mentioned on a previous review. Man, you take these little things for granted, but boy, does a toy ever pop more when the wheels are painted. You do have a kind of a silvery metallic paint here on the bumper. So that's a nice touch. Again, nothing here on the other side, and the back is devoid of almost all paint, except for a very tiny, tiny little teeny-weeny Decepticon symbol. Very small, but that's cool. Again, you know, he's got molding in where the taillights would be, and you just kind of wish that they would have put a little bit of paint there, but it's okay. It's fine. Underneath the toy, do you have any robot bits? You have a giant face. Look at that. 2 eyes, nose, and the flaming goatee, and the red teeth. That's amazing. That's amazing. That looks really, really awesome. So we'll see as that carries over into robot mode. But that's Rumble in his vehicle. Now, he comes with 2 weapons, his pile driver cannons, and these do actually snap on in vehicle mode. Now, I did find the fact that they have a peg hole here and an opening, you can fit these things together. I have not transformed this figure yet. I have not seen the instructions yet. So I'm sure that there's a reason that that's there. You can snap these together. I don't know why you'd want to. So, yeah, let's not do that again. On the back, you've got the 2 peg holes here on the side of the vehicle. So you can take these cannons and you can mount them here on the sides like that. And that's kind of cool. That's pretty neat. So that's cool. By the way, he does roll pretty well. He seems to be a little bit off balance. Maybe that's just the way he was transformed in the box. We'll get to the bottom of that a bit later. Now, it's kind of neat from a playability standpoint. If you point these things down, it almost looks like he's getting ready to take off, and then they point back and he goes into hyperspeed. It's kind of neat. I like that. Or maybe I'm just being ridiculous. I can't tell. But so that's Rumble in his vehicle mode. Now, let's get this guy transformed and see how cool his robot mode is. Because right now I don't know. But I have a feeling it's going to be pretty great. Alright, to transform Rumble into robot mode, it's actually not too complicated, but it is a very interesting transformation. So I really like the way that this guy is assembled. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to come around here to the side panels and just pop him out. He's tabbed in there pretty well. So, you know, just get underneath it and make sure that everything has come loose. And if you've done it correctly, then he should pop out without any real issues. Or you could break your figure. One of the two, so be careful. And got the other side out. Alright, after that, what you want to do is come around here and lift this whole assembly up, just to get it out of your way. You can rotate these down a bit, just to get them out of your way. Come down to the front hood section, and split this apart, just like that. Okay, then what you want to do is drag these things, or just pull the front section down of the hood, just like that. But don't go all the way. Just go down until it really just stops you. And don't force it. Come around here to the other side and take this front section of the bumper and twist it inside like that. Do that on both sides, and when you do that, it gives you enough clearance to lift this all the way up, which you didn't have before. Come down here to these little points, that's his feet, and open them up just like that. At this point, you have built Rumble's legs. Alright, let's continue transformation. Come out to the top of the car, and we'll turn them around here. You want to split them apart, just like that. And get these back pieces out of the way, because what you're going to do is you're going to come around here and actually twist and bring these arms down, just like that. Okay? Then you want to take this back panel and just push it back in where it came from. And when you do that, you're going to look real close in here, and you're going to see that this thing tabs in right in there. Got a little tab there. So you're going to push it in and tab it into place on both sides. Okay? Now you want to get a head reveal. Actually, before we do that, let's take these 2 top pieces of the hood and slide them up on top of the arms. Just like that. We'll save the head reveal for last. Turn the arms so you've exposed his hands. Now for the head reveal, you can take this whole piece and just separate it. Bam! My sound effect was a bit delayed. But that's the head reveal. Let's try that again. Bam! Head reveal. Alright. And then you just want to basically squeeze the top. He's got 2 pegs on the top of the chest that peg into these holes. I don't know if you can see that, but right there. You're going to peg this thing right in like that. And put his head down. Stand him up. And here you've got Rumble in his amazing robot mode. This figure is one of... I'm just going to go ahead and say this. This is probably the best figure in the Transformers Prime line. And I don't say that lightly. There are a lot of good figures in that line, from Soundwave to Ratchet. But this guy, albeit he's a bit shorter in stature than some of the other figures, for a real quick size comparison, here's an already short figure, which is RiD Bumblebee. And Bumblebee towers over Rumble. You put him next here to Bulkhead. I know one's a Voyager. Oops. But again, you've got quite a size difference here. But Rumble, keep in mind, to stay true to the character, is supposed to be a smaller figure, and he's intricate enough to where I think it warrants the deluxe figure price for this figure. The way that this guy's engineered, I mean, let's look at this guy up close. The head sculpt on Rumble is really amazingly detailed. Very, very good job by the designers here. He's got these red eyes. He's got the red crest up on the top. He's got some pretty amazing light piping. So, I mean, huge props to the designers of this character. Now, he does have the translucent here on the eyes on his chest plate. There's nothing but hard, non-see-through plastic, so you're not going to get that to light up. That would have been just freaking amazing if that happened. But light piping is really only in the head and, of course, in his arms. Doing a quick overview of the body, you can see that the way that this figure is designed, he's got a very sleek look about him, despite these giant car parts on his arms. Just going around, I mean, I really have no complaints on this figure at all. The colors, again, on the internet, I don't think that the color representation that you see online matches when you have this guy in your hand. He's got a darker look to him than he appears on pictures that I've seen online, because the color of blue isn't nearly as light and teal-y as it looks to be when you see this guy's picture on the internet. The yellow in the shoulders, that's all paint. That's not that's not yellow plastic. It's painted yellow, and that looks amazing. Again, up close, we kind of looked at this already earlier, but the face design in the chest, I mean, the way that these things kind of come across his teeth, and that's red paint, yellow paint for the flaming goatee. You've got some translucent plastic here in the sides, silver here in the center section. I mean, this guy really pops. I'm not used to seeing Prime figures with a whole bunch of paint, and he's painted up really nice. You've got yellow paint here in the knees. You still have kind of a shiny, almost painted on looking plastic. This for sure is painted plastic on the top. I have no doubt that, in fact, you can see on the other side that if you took a knife and scraped away, this is going to be a translucent plastic right here on the arm guards. But again, you know, this guy really does look absolutely amazing. Now, to get his weapons into the mix, he has two different pile drivers, as you saw earlier, but notice the way that the pegs are aligned. They're not centered, and they're like that for a reason. And it actually tells you, if you look real close inside here, it'll tell you which one is for the left arm. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that to focus in. Just take my word for it. This one says L2, and this one says R2. Where's R1 and L1? I don't know. But anyway, so if you take the R pile driver and put it on Rumble's right hand, what you find is that because of the way the peg is centered, it puts this pile driver right over his entire forearm section, which makes it look like it's actually coming out of his hand. So that's very cool, and that's why these things are labeled left and right. Plugging this one into the other side, you know, you've got some very neat poses that you can do with his weapons, and you can also get that G1-esque pile drive motion going if you point these guys towards the ground and kind of maneuver his feet around. And yeah, you can tilt his head up and he's in full-on pile drive mode. So you got Bulkhead coming, whoa! Alright, enough of the sound effects. But you get the idea. I mean, a highly posable figure, and you can get some high playability just with these piledriver weapons alone, because he could use it as a traditional gun, or you could put him on full-on piledriver mode. Now, looking at Rumble's articulation, he's got quite a bit. These shoulders have full-on ball joint maneuverability, so his whole arm assembly can go up and down. He also has a swivel here in his forearm. He's got a ratchet joint here right here, connecting his forearm to his elbow. So same on the other side. His legs, again, you've got a ball joint here in the legs. You've got full-on knee bends here, again, because of transformation. So the amount of poses that you can get out of this guy, and I'm not going to fiddle with it too much right now, but I have no doubt that you could get this guy in some amazing poses with the way that his knees bend and his arms go up. And I mean, hands down, a highly, highly posable figure. I wanted to also mention on the back here that he has these very Generation 1 looking weapons here molded into the back panel. The original G1 figure, that's kind of what he had, these little snap-in or peg-in weapons that fit on his back, and a very, very nice detail that they would put that here on this figure, and lots of nice detail in the back, including the wheel covers and, like I said, the weapons here. But lots of nice details in the back. We have some writing back here. 2012 Hasbro Tomy. There you go. The face motif kind of carries back here as well. You can kind of see the two eyes and the nose and such, so very neat. So, if you haven't guessed it already, my overall opinion on Rumble is this is what I think to be the best figure in the Transformers Prime line, and perhaps the best figure that I've picked up in a number of years. He's short, that's really the only real drawback, but again, Rumble the character, supposed to be short, the way that they've painted this guy up, he looks like a troublemaker. He looks like the kind of guy that is going to mess with you, trip you, punch you on your way down, and then pile drive you into the ground. I mean, that's the way he looks. And I really think that's fantastic. Transformers Prime, Robots in Disguise, Deluxe, Decepticon, Rumble. Highly recommended. Pick this guy up if you see him. I found him online, reasonable price. I've not seen him yet in retail, but if you do, pick him up. Even if you don't, I think it's worth your money to pick him up. Maybe spend a little bit more on an Amazon or an eBay, because again, I really think that this is, I've said it 50 times, one of the best guys that you're going to find today. Thanks again for watching eBEFOREi video reviews. To help me out, you can subscribe by clicking one of these buttons. I think it's on top. But subscribe to the channel by clicking that. Give me a thumbs up. Rate this channel. And again, your support means everything to me. Thank you so much. We'll be back again soon.